Hello, my friends. The name is Friday, Black Friday to be exact, and I am here to show you my wares, to show you the fruits, I am somewhat embarrassed to say, of about 8 hours of gambling in this game. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, how you could gamble for this long using free gold, please see my preceding video. The most recent one on this channel before this one, in which I break it all down, give a tutorial, and show you the best items I managed to gamble the last time this Black Friday event happened, as I'm about to show you right now. I wish I had another hour or so to gamble, which is about the time I have until my company arrives for Christmas, but I am instead choosing to make this video for you. So maybe I could have gambled 5 perfect Griffin's Eyes in that hour. Instead, I'm bringing you this content. If you appreciate my sacrifice, give us a thumbs up and leave a comment, and you know all the rest. Without any further ado, though, let's take a look at Amulets, one of only 2 different classes of item this time I tried to gamble. Oh, and one more thing, although Black Friday is our salesman and vendor today, he is not the one who gambled. Lesser, level 91 Wind Druid, was doing all the gambling. As I explained last time, that's the only high-level character I have, so that's what I've got. It's a pretty good level for gambling overall. So, what did we get for Amulets? Well, we got an Akosan Relic, and this is kind of a stand-in for all the other low-level uniques and sets we found this time. I think I found 3 Naj's Circlet, as well as a lot of the set amulets at lower levels that I just didn't even bother saving, even for the purposes of this video, but it is your friendly reminder that yes, you can gamble OP uniques. We were not so lucky this time. Another kind of category unto itself, in my opinion, is teleport items, and in this case, our best teleport amulet, and the only one we saved here, is actually a really good one, and one that I probably would have used without my current level of gear. It's +2 to all druid skill levels and a level 2 teleport. Before you get yourself a Enigma or indeed Naj's Puzzler on Switch, perhaps you don't prefer to switch, or you prefer to switch to something else, these types of teleport amulets, especially if they come with other good affixes, are really viable options. Next, we have a few solid magic options. 3 to lightning skills, 18% magic find, and 3 to cold skills, 77%, pardon me, gold find. So for sorceresses that just want to spike those skills and make their running more profitable, those are certainly valid options, both available as early as level 45, as is a delightful rose-branded Amulet of the Whale. This is for a paladin who knows exactly what he wants from life. 3 to combat skills and 100 to life. That's just a very pleasing pair of statistics. Couple moderately noteworthy rares here, +2 to offensive auras for a paladin, followed by a series of statistics that are all relatively low rolls, but they're all useful. 3 to min damage, 15 to life, 8 res all, fire res 25, damage reduced by 2. This is available at level 30, so it's a really good all-around starter item. It doesn't give you any progress toward breakpoints or anything like that, but no stat is wasted. Could have been a stat king if it had been a higher level item, perhaps. We do have a higher level rare, Viper Heart, required level 72, 2 to all Amazon skill levels, and this has, once again, not any faster run walk or anything toward breakpoints or anything like that, but it does have some big, healthy chunks. 19 to strength, 78 to mana, 33 poison resist, 67% gold find. So you can imagine if a few of these were slightly different, or if we had just a little bit more juice out of this, we are pretty close with this one to something really nice. Finally, we have a trio of FCR amulets. In order of least to most complex, we have 3 to summoning skills, 10 FCR. Honestly, all of these are viable if you need that 10% FCR. That is kind of the linchpin of all 3 of these items, and they all are really good to skills. So if you're hitting a new breakpoint with that, more power to you. Next up, 2 Barbarian skills, 10 FCR, 15 poison resist, damage reduced by 3. So you get a few extra mods, but all of that is gravy. Basically, if you need that FCR threshold once again, that's when you'd use something like this. And our most overall powerful one, arguably, is also available at the early level of 34. Plus 2 to summoning skills, but if you are a summon necro, that is functionally plus 2 to all skills. It's nice, but totally unnecessary to get more than 1 point into most of your curses, right? And 10% faster cast rate as the other 2 in this group. That is kind of the linchpin statistic here. 3 to max damage is wasted, 7 to poison resist, a little meh, 7 to magic, fine, nice, but could be higher, magic damage reduced by 3. So there's a lot going on there, but it's all kind of sound and fury, not really signifying much, is it? And the final amulet to show you is actually my favorite one I will be keeping most certainly for self-use as I main an elemental druid. It's another straight up 3 to elemental skills, 10% faster cast rate. Currently, I'm actually needing resistances from my amulet due to other gear changes, but there will come a time where the resistances are okay. Maybe I need a faster cast rate, and I'm getting plus 3 to my main skill tree right along the way. Absolutely staying in my stash for when the time comes. Now on to Circlets, my friends, and we begin with another very interesting one that would have been absolutely a candidate for self-use for yours truly had I been at an earlier stage of the game. 3 to elemental skills, level 2 teleport. If you need teleport on your fire or windy druid and you're not at the enigma stage yet, you don't have an alternative source like we mentioned when talking about amulets, this is great. Gives you plus 3 to skills right along the way. Maybe a little bit harder to justify than an amulet though, in terms of squeezing teleport in there, simply because you do have so much potential power even for far from optimal gear from your headgear as a druid. That said, remember, for these blue circlets, you can add sockets to them and get, if they don't already have them, of course, and you've got a 50-50 shot of getting 2 sockets, which can really power up many of the options that we're about to see. Another teleport amulet actually comes with a lot of really interesting stats, and I don't play Assassin, so I don't know exactly how desirable teleport is, but you're getting plus 2 to Shadow Disciplines. Little bit 4 to life, obviously would be really nice if that were higher, but we've got 18 res all and cold res 41, boosting life and resistances when you're doing the dangerous thing of teleporting around. All in all, makes this a really interesting piece. Grim Cowl has the dubious distinction of being the only item I'm showing you for headgear without any skill boost whatsoever, and of course usually you need that, it's pretty mandatory. However, this just shows you how close we were to something awesome. Imagine almost any skill tree getting plus 2, or of course even better, any character as a whole getting plus 2 on top of this. 20% faster run walk, 20% faster cast rate. This is the only piece where I saw those two things coexisting at those levels. And then on top of that, 5 to min damage, 67 attack rating, 44 enhanced defense, and all res 14. So the run walk, the cast rate, and the all res definitely a bit of a tilt, actually, because it's so close to being something so OP. And the final 2 that I have in this inventory at the moment are the only 2 remaining ones that don't have plus 2 to an entire class's skill, rather they're focusing on a specific tree. They both happen to be boosting offensive paladin auras by 2. This first one is really interesting because it's got 30% faster run walk in all res 17, 3 to mana after each kill. Just kind of a collection of some powerful things, basically. Don't know exactly how well they all come together, but I could see certain builds availing themselves of that. And then this one's got a little bit more going on. It's also another teleport option as well. So once again, alongside the teleport option for assassins, you've got the teleport combined with 2 to a skill tree combined with all res. And that's really a good building block for a lot of characters that don't otherwise access teleport. So we've got 2 to offensive auras, level 2 teleport, all res 11, cold resist spiking to 45, and then 22 to strength and 12 to dexterity. those are both obviously highly desirable for paladins. So this has got a lot going on. A really interesting circlet. We're then going to take a quick look at 9 different circlets that all spawned with faster run walk, so keep in mind when you evaluate the usefulness of these that is kind of the defining trait, in my opinion, of most, if not all of these circlets. A very simple one to begin with, 2 to Amazon skill levels, 30% faster run walk, and this is clearly the class that benefits the most from faster run walk, especially when you're talking about the endgame. Next up, we have a pretty intriguing 330 shape-shifting skill faster run walk communal circlet of speed. And I do play druid. I have not played a shapeshifter before, but I do understand that teleport is not castable while you are shape-shifted. Therefore, I have to assume that shapeshifters also benefit immensely from faster run walk. And once again, these are both blue circlets, so you can, with a coin flip going your way, get 2 sockets in them as well. Moving on to some rares, we have one for offensive auras and paladin faster run walk and all res 17. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, I covered it in the previous section. That's embarrassing. Moving on, barbarian skill levels +2, 30% faster run walk. You got 101 to attack rating, 71% enhanced defense, 37 to life, magic damage reduced by 3. All of these stats, very good for a barbarian, getting up close and personal. That said, just like with druid, remember that the class-specific helms for barbarian are so good that a circlet has to be extra good in order to really get over the line in terms of comparison to the class-specific options. We've got another paladin option, this one, +2 to all skill levels, and again, 30 FRW, 18 to dexterity, 22 to poison resist. A lot of these pieces that I've found are having big chunks of poison resist, where almost any other form of resist would be probably more desirable for the average build. Bit of a shame, but then we have a few Amazon ones to consider, and once again, remember that faster run walk, highly desirable for most, if not all, Amazon, or at least Boazon builds as I understand it. 2 to all skills, 30% faster run walk, then you've got 7 to max damage, 95% enhanced defense, there's that poison resist once again, magic damage reduced by 3. There's a lot going on there, none of it is all that exciting. I think this next one is definitely a lot better, because you're getting 12% chance to cast level 4 charged bolt when struck, which is okay. Another enhanced defense, this time a bit higher, but then 21 to strength, 18 to all res. I like those last 2 lines of text a whole lot. And then yet another Amazon option, this one a little bit more defensive in terms of the on hit, or when struck, I suppose, proc of Nova. This one is granting us 7% lifesteal. You've gotta love that. Definitely a desirable line of text. Maybe not as good overall as the 21 to strength, 18 all res. Depends on your build and depends on your items otherwise, but you're also getting a nice 44 to mana. Finally, we have a Necromancer option that boasts only 10% faster run walk compared to the 30% that we've been seeing on all these other ones, but it also gives you 20% FCR, in addition to some relatively wasted stats alongside 28 to life, and the Spirit Visor, while it does a little bit of everything, probably not good enough to really wear, but it does neatly segue us into the FCR Circlets that we're about to take a look at next. So let's look at these coveted 220s, or in the case of the first one, 320s. Your skillers with 20% faster cast rate are generally the winning formula, and anything on top of that is where you really start going over the top with these items. Sadly, I only gambled 4 that were even worth showing you. The first one, nice straight up 3 to summoning skills for a druid, 20% faster cast rate. You need a breakpoint, you want lots of skill bonuses, that is your guy. Next up, 2 to assassin skills, 20% FCR, 8% life stolen per hit, 43 to mana. And then the classic sorceress, +2 to all skills and 20 FCR. That's a real deadly combo to start with. Sadly, it didn't really roll anything else to speak of besides all res 13, which is not bad, but when you do have those three things together, you'd like to see so much more. Even one other really relevant line of text could make that quite something to write home about. And finally, probably the most interesting one, a little bit hard to rate, just because I don't know exactly how desirable FCR is for different barbarian builds, but this one does give you +2 to all skill levels. It's got that 220 to begin with, 30% enhanced damage. It's easy to glaze over that because we've seen so many enhanced defense rolls on these circlets thus far, but this actually enhances damage. Getting that out of a piece of headgear is pretty rare, and it's gotta be desirable for some barbarians at least. You're also doing barbarian things while doubling down on that damage boost by adding 25 to attack rating, could be higher, 29 to strength, which is a massive strength roll, and then 12 to life, again, could be higher. All in all, this is the most interesting 220 that I found, I would say by a long shot. Now let's look at a few rares that have the misfortune of spawning with neither FCR nor faster run walk, so that means if they're worth looking at, it's usually because they're more defensive in nature and or more stat oriented. These all boast +2 to skills, but they're also packing a hefty defensive or stat-related boost for the most part. So first up, 2 to Paladin skill levels, 14% chance to cast level 5 Nova when struck, and then this is all about being on the front lines with 7 to minimum damage, 13 to strength, 20 res all, and an additional 16 to cold res on top of that. Another +2 Paladin skiller. This one, very simple, very intriguing potentially, I would say, for the right build anyway, because it's got Dual Leech on headgear. 5% mana, 7% life stolen per hit, and all res 20. Some really nice rolls overall. If it had more lines of text, it could be really, really good, who knows. Another Paladin +2 is up next, this one also with 7% lifesteal but no mana steal, but we do have some higher stat boosts overall, 13 to dexterity most notably, but you're also adding a lot to your mana pool between 12 to energy, 43 to mana, and cold res 30. The theme of Life Leech on headgear continues with an Amazon option boasting 2 to skills, 6 to life stolen, 17 to dexterity, 23 to life, and cold res 36. Probably would need maybe one other thing to make that a really solid all-rounder. Next up, we have yet another lifesteal option. This one is for assassins. Only 5 life stolen, the lowest roll we've seen so far, but a nice high 25 to strength, 24 poison res, replenishing life +3, and it comes with its very own socket. No need to trouble our boy Larzuk for that one. Next up, another assassin option, giving you 11 to strength, 17 to dex, 36 to life, 33 lightning res, and 24 poison res. This, although probably not the best one by any means in this small group, is possibly the most emblematic, because it does not have faster run walk or faster cast rate or anything that is super uniquely best in class for any particular build to my knowledge, but it does have good, honest stat boosts to something that almost any character, almost any class and build would welcome. We also have a Necromancer option. Necromancer looking pretty cool, the circlet on, if you ask me. 6% mana stolen is a total waste, but then 9 to energy, 35 to life, 40 to mana, all res 13, serviceable but maybe unspectacular. And then we've got a sorceress option that is really defensive in nature and saves you even more on strength, which of course translates into vitality. So with 24 to strength, that's actually the most appealing thing about this, reducing your need to pump stats into her that you would otherwise never want to do. 15 all res, 45 poison res, damage reduced by 3. And last but certainly not least, we did it again. If you watched the previous video, you know that by far my most GG item was one of the most innocuous looking 2 affixes, blue items that you could possibly imagine, unless you know that it's best in slot for certain Amazon endgame builds, in which case you know just how expensive it is. Sadly, we've got Artisan's Tiara of Speed, rather than Artisan's Diadem of Speed, which last time was our big coup from all that gambling. In that, without spoiling too much about my upcoming video, which documents the 2-week journey from mediocre Windy Druid gear to pretty dang good Windy Druid gear, I did manage to trade the Artisan's Diadem of Speed for something that funded a whole lot of my endgame gear. So that is kind of what we've got here. The Tiara is less desirable than the Diadem, purely for aesthetic reasons is my understanding, but at least before all this free gambling through the circlet market into total chaos, I would say this is worth right about bare. So as you can see, Terror is approaching Sanctuary, Black Friday, about to go slay Uber Diablo, no problem. He'll just put on that Artisan's Tiara of Speed, throw a few chip gems in there, and we'll take him down easy peasy. Thank you, as always, my friends, for watching. I do appreciate that. And as I just teased, stay tuned for more content documenting my journey to pretty good gear with my main and some more gameplay to follow. Take care, guys. Merry Christmas, and I will talk to you soon.